Okay, I want to tell you this slideshow is going to be directed towards foreclosure because of a homeowners association foreclosure process. And I'm down here in Texas, so I'm going to tell you about the Texas law, but it kind of applies to the same thing everywhere. If you live in a house or a condominium, now then a HOA is a homeowners association. A COA is a condominium owners association. They're both basically the same. You're paying money every month to the association for the right to live in that property, but the two are governed a little bit differently. I'm going to talk about if you have a house, a freestanding house in a community in Texas that is governed by a homeowners association. Okay, it all starts with when you buy the house. If where you choose to live, you have to know, and they have to tell you that this community is governed by a homeowners association. And the homeowners association fees and dues are completely separate and paid separately to a different entity each month than your mortgage payment. It has nothing to do with your mortgage payment. And so you're going to be responsible for making a monthly payment, and they have to disclose that to you. But here's the thing. Let's say you buy the house, you move in, you sign the agreement to all of these things that are required to purchase the house, and you move in and everything's great. Okay, then you live there for a couple of years, and suddenly, as all foreclosures happen, I mean, the income stream for some reason in your family has dwindled to the point where you get behind. Okay, if you are current on your mortgage payment, your house payment, and you fall behind or can't pay the homeowners association payment, then that homeowners association can certainly foreclose on your property. That means that they can take the debt that you owe plus all the fees and the fines and penalties that accrue on the note to the courthouse steps, and they can actually foreclose and to recover those fees. They can actually disconnect you as the owner of that house to pay those fees. It has nothing, even though you're current on your mortgage payment, it has absolutely nothing at all to do with the payment on the house. You can lose that house simply by not paying that homeowners association fee. Okay, and the reason that happens is because you're living in what's called a common interest community in Texas. All of the other people that live in that community are required to pay that money too, and so you should be also. And when you don't pay it, the homeowners can get you out of that community simply by auctioning off the deed to the property for what's owed on the assessment. Now then, I have heard and seen of people that lost a $250,000 house simply because they got $2,000 to $3,000 or $4,000 behind in the homeowners association fees. The homeowners association goes to the courthouse, they foreclose on the property, and that owner is eventually evicted from the property if they don't bring the assessment fees current. Now then, that's just the way it is. But you are still responsible for your mortgage payment, even though you get evicted from the property. It's just a whole mess. It's hard to understand. It's hard to even fathom that it's possible, but it is. Okay, you have to know going in what you sign on the dotted line for is what you're responsible for. Okay, so when that happens, here's the thing. The fees and the fines is what gets you. That $200 a month that's very small compared to what they are able to include in the lien. And some of the things that are included on top of the $200 is unpaid assessments, which is your principal amount, the late fees that they can charge, the interest that they charge on all of this, the collection costs, the cost that it cost them to come after you with paperwork and phone calls, etc. Then the attorney's fees that are associated with it, the compiling of the paperwork, getting it all together to go to the courthouse steps legally. And then there's typically, in parenthesis, other fees. And that could be anything that they can dream of, that they can possibly think of. And then there's fines. There's fines, and then there's other amounts due by the Homeowners Association that is governed by the Texas Property Code that they're allowed to charge. So in kind of a nutshell, the $200 payment that you're assessed each month for the HOA fees could easily be $300 in addition. It could be $500 a month once these fees and fines compound on the monthly overdue amount of money. As the months go by, when you're trying to figure out what to do, you still have to pay your mortgage payment. But that $500, it's compounded on the bottom line each month. So that $500 could go to easily $1,000. That $1,000 could go to multiple thousands. And by the time it gets to the courthouse steps, it might be $10,000 or $15,000. And then it gets foreclosed on. But here's the thing, and I don't know if this is much consolation, but in Texas, after you've been foreclosed on by one of these homeowners associations, by law, you have 180 days in Texas to reacquire the home by paying off all of those fees and fines. In other words, you got to come up with $10,000 or $15,000 just to get your home back. And I know that's, who can do that? If you can't pay the $200 every month, where are you going to get the $15,000 just to get your home back? And you still have to pay your mortgage payment. And so if you're watching this video, if you get into this situation, yeah, sure, call me. I'll take a look at the situation to get you out of the foreclosure. It's not uncommon for me to pay the $8,000 or $10,000 to acquire a $250,000 home. And let me tell you, there's 150 people down at the courthouse ready to bid on your property, because they know that that's an amazing profit margin. You're going to have to get out unless you bring this thing clean. I mean, anyone that gets the deed to your property on the courthouse steps is going to, notify you that you have the time to bring it current to continue living there. But if you can't, then the foreclosure ends up being eviction, and you have to get out. And there's 20 states in the United States that the HOA foreclosure lien is a super lien, which means that it could possibly wipe out the mortgage. If it's recorded as a first lien on the property and it gets foreclosed on for $15,000, that $250,000 mortgage in some states could get completely wiped out. And the bottom line here is someone is going to purchase your home for $15,000 or $18,000, and it's worth $250,000, and all the liens get wiped out. That's an amazing business, and why it's set up like that, I just don't know, but it is. And so you're just dealing with that. And I would recommend that you talk to an attorney as soon as possible if you're getting behind on your HOA dues, okay? But if you want to discuss it with me and you want to look for an exit strategy because of this foreclosure, I'll be glad to come and take a look at it and give you my best case scenario on how to get you out as efficiently and quickly as possible without the debt and long-term ramifications spiraling completely out of control for you. It just makes you more difficult to move into the next house. But anyway, that's what it is. And it's nothing to take lightly, and you should do something about it as quickly as you possibly can. Okay, so if you'd like to speak to me about that, I'll be glad to come out and take a look at your situation at no cost to you at all. Okay, bye-bye.